Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to take a look at an extraordinary looking thermometer Sudoku that's just popped up on a Facebook group that I'm a member of. It's where some of the world's best puzzle contributors send in puzzles from time to time, and you can see that this one's come in. This is the thermometer Sudoku, and the shape of the thermometers is actually a Chinese character for the word Sudoku, which is absolutely brilliant. And I think this is by Mingji Wang, so fair play. I mean, this is really a stunning construction. It's so stunning, in fact, that Teet Funk, who was World Sudoku Champion in 2016, I think, has already commented on this puzzle to say what a wonderful Sudoku it is. So I think we're going to be lucky to have a go at it. Now here it is on screen. If you want to have a go, click on the link under the video. That'll take you to our software, and you can try it yourselves. A couple of things to mention. Firstly, let's talk about what a thermometer Sudoku is. Well, each of the thermometers needs to be constructed in strictly ascending order. So you have to put the lowest number along a thermometer at the bottom, and it has to go upwards from there. Now, it doesn't have to go up in stages of 1. So if this was a 3, for example, that doesn't mean this has to be a 4. It just has to be a number bigger than a 3. So if this was a 4, this has to be any number bigger than a 4. So that's how thermometer Sudokus work. You see, it's already pretty extraordinary. There's no given digits here. And the only other thing to mention is you might be a bit puzzled by this thermometer here. Now, this thermometer actually is just a thermometer going to the right here. So don't worry about the fact it's along this thermometer as well. This thermometer exists all on its own, and this thermometer is separate, and that's something that the comments on the Facebook group have clarified. So you are going to see me solve this live. I've not done this before, and let's now take a look and see how to solve it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can see this thermometer is of length 9, so if everything must increase, we can actually put some digits straight in. It must look like that, as must this thermometer all the way up column 7. So we're going to get a few free digits here. Where should we look now? Just trying to see what the best place to start to make progress here would be. Quite interested in this thermometer. Obviously this 4 means these two cells have got to be bigger than 4, 5 or 6 because they're appearing in a row. So that could be 7, 8, that could be 8 or 9. Now, what are the options for these squares then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see these two squares are bigger than 6 and 7. So these two squares are, in fact, 8 and 9, like that. And these squares here have to be 3, 2, and 1, because they can't be 4 or 5, and they must have an order. So 3, 2, 1. This square is a 7, 8, or a 9. Let's just label that up. So now these squares here must be 1, 4, and 5. Well, this square cannot be a 1 because it's part way along a thermometer. So that's a 4 or a 5. Okay, and this square can't be a 1. So in fact, therefore, we know, because we know now this is the 1, and we know that this square is a 4 or a 5, this square must be a 2 or a 3. Must be a 1 up here. And this square, you can see that because we've got such a restriction in column 4 already, and this number needs to be bigger than a 4, and it can't be an 8, this square I think has to be a 9, which is surprising. That looks right, I think. Now, there must be a 9 in one of those two squares. This one can't be a 9 because there has to be a bigger number along the thermometer from here. So now we need to place 1, 2 and 8. So this square can be a 1 or a 2. That square can only be an 8, can't be a 1 or a 2 because of those squares. So now we know the order of this square. It must be 1 and 2 in that order. This square can't be a 1 anymore, so that's a 1. That must be a 1 here, just by normal Sudoku rules. And that must be a 2 by normal Sudoku rules. That means there's a 2 in one of those squares on the left-hand side. We've still got a few thermometers to work with here, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this square, you can see it must be a number bigger than a 3. So it must be a 4 or a 5. It can't be bigger than a 5 because it was a 6, 7, 8, 9, and this square would have no value that would be possible. So we're able to sort of go up gradually like that as this one develops. Now, does that help us? Well, it does a bit. Look at those 3 squares there. Those 3 squares are a 7, 8, 9 triple in column 8. So this square must be a 4, 5 or a 6, and that square is a 4, 5 or a 6. 3's in those squares mean there's a 3 down here, look. Now this 1 means there's a 1 along this thermometer. Well, we know it can't be part way across the thermometer, so that must be here. So this is a 2 or a 3, and this is a 3 or a 4. What next, you may ask? 2's. It's always better to use the thermometers if we can. In this square, for example, it can't begin with 1, 2, 3 or 4. So the options are 5, 6, 7 or 8. So this must be 6, 7 or 9 into this square. It can't be 8 because of this 8 up here. But I can't see immediately how to resolve that. 9, 8. What are we missing here? 4. In fact, let's come back to this square here. Now, why did I think this? This can't be a 9 because the 9 is ruled out by the triple. So where can the 9 go in this block? Actually, only there. That means that's a 9. That means there's now that means this is a 9 and this is a 3 because of the 9 up here. That 3 means this square is a 2, which means that square is a 2. Now, where can the 2 go in the central 3 by 3? Only in this square. It gives us a 3, 4 pair along here as well. These 2 squares have got to be 7, 8 and 9 in some order, so let's label that up, and then you can see that one can't be a 9 because of the 9 here, and this one can't be an 8 because of the 8 above it. And that one can't be a 9 actually. So I could have done more there. So this 9 here means this square is not 9. And where can the 9 go in this 3 by 3 now? Only in this position. So I think we've done the 9s, that looks right. We can put an 8 in there by normal Sudoku rules, combination of these 8s. This can only be 6 or 7, so there's no way this can be a 7 or an 8 anymore. So this has to be 5 or 6. And we've almost, I think we've almost used, we haven't done enough down here. So this must be a number that's at least as big as a 4. And one of these numbers is a 7, because we haven't put a 7 into the row yet. So the 7 must be in this square, and this must be 4, 5 or 6. Now there must be a 7 in one of those two squares at the top. It's very easy, or I find it very easy to miss, you know, a simple bit of logic with these thermometers, so I'm trying not to do that. See, that's a 4 there actually, so we can remove the 4 from this square. That actually gives us a 5, 6 pair along there, so this square now has to be a 4. Doesn't really help with finishing that off, but I guess it means there's a 4 in one of those two positions. That must be an 8 in one of these two squares as well, because now this can't be an 8, and we have an 8 up here. That's going to be nice, because that means this square is a 7. That means that's 8 and 7 in that order. Now there must be an 8 here, because we're going to have to put an 8 in this block. This 7 means this square is a 6. Once this is a 6, that must be a 5. Now that should be helpful. This is a 3 now. That means this is a 3 by normal Sudoku rules. The 5 here resolves the 5 and the 4. These two squares at the top have got to be 6 and 7, and we have a 7 here, so 7 and 6 in that order. That gives us a 7 here as well, just unwinding our pencil marks. These two squares are 4 and 5. That means this one can't be a 4. That means that one must be 4. And we need to put a 6 into one of these two squares, which means this square is the 7. Now that's helpful, because that means this square is a 7. That means that must be an 8, which means that we can unwind the 8 and the 6 over on this side of the grid. That means the 1 and the 2 go that way round. Now this should be a 5 or a 6 as well. We're closing in on a solution possibly, but not quite there yet. Let's have a look at this row. We need 3, 4 and 5 to finish it. And actually it looks to me like we can't actually eliminate much there. So what is it we're missing? This thermometer, these 5s and 6s are completely unresolved, so it must be a straightforward bit of Sudoku that we need in order to finish the puzzle. Let's have a look down this row then. We need 4, 5 and 6 here. This must be 5 or 6 as well. Ah! Why can't I do this? I can do it by by empty rectangles. Look, there's a 5 and a 6 here. So if we look at this top box here, you can see the numbers 5 and 6 are not yet placed. So they either go in this row or they go in this column. But if they go in this column, whichever one we're looking at, if we're looking at the 5, that's going to force this square to be a 5, which sees this square. So there's no way there's a 5 or a 6 in this square, which means this square must be a 3 or a 4. And that means that these two squares are a 3 or a 4 pair, and that gives us a 5 there. Now that, I'm sure, is a massive overkill, but why not? I spotted it, so let's use that. That's going to resolve everything down here now. This must be a 4, 4, 5, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, and hopefully that's going to be a 6. And that's how to solve the puzzle. So I'm sure I'm sure I didn't need the empty rectangle there. I'll leave you guys to tell me what simple bit of Sudoku logic I missed, but I suppose it's nice to add one of the more complicated techniques in occasionally when my brain doesn't work on the simple stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and we'll be back soon with another edition. Cracking the Cryptic.